Welcome to the Prepper Almanac. Thank you for joining us today. It is deeply appreciated. In today's video, we are going to discuss the differences of being prepared as a prepper in an urban environment versus a rural area. And if I give you value in today's video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. We live in an unpredictable world. We live in uncertain times, folks. The world's a powder keg, and you never know when that fuse might get lit. It could be World War III that sparks up from a geopolitical issue. It could be a devastating economic downturn, a long-term disaster, or even a complete societal collapse. Forget your fancy gadgets and creature comforts. In these scenarios, it's all about survival. Now, whether you're in an urban area of concrete jungle in a city or in a rural area, survival depends on one thing, and that's preparation. We're talking about being self-sufficient, resourceful, and ready to face anything. Trust me. When the grid goes down and supply chains crumble, you won't be ordering takeout. Today we're diving deep into the essentials of urban and rural prepping in order to be ready for any prepper scenario. We'll cover everything you need to know, from securing food and water to building shelter and defending yourself. Remember, surviving out there isn't about luck. It's about preparation and the will to live. So, pack your mental rucksack, sharpen your instincts, and get ready to learn how to survive during uncertain times. In an urban area, space is a luxury, but even a small apartment can become a survival pantry. We're talking about packing in the calories, maximizing shelf life, and making every inch count. Forget fresh produce, we're talking non-perishable staples like rice, beans, and oats. These are your workhorses, providing essential carbs for energy. Don't forget about protein, vital for muscle repair and overall strength. Canned tuna, salmon, and chicken are excellent options, packed with nutrients and easily stored. Remember, vitamins and minerals are crucial, so stock up on multivitamins and consider sprouting seeds for fresh greens. Think long-term. Dehydrated meals and MREs, meals ready to eat, are compact, calorie-dense, and can last for years. You're aiming for at least a 3-month supply, but ideally, you want to be prepared for longer. In a prolonged crisis, your food stash could be the difference between life and, well, you know. Out in a rural area, nature becomes your supermarket, but you need the knowledge to shop smart. We're talking about identifying edible plants, trapping small game, and understanding the rhythms of the natural world. This isn't some weekend camping trip. This is about true self-sufficiency. Learn to identify edible plants like dandelions, cattails, and wild onions. These nutrient-rich options can supplement your rations and keep you going when supplies run low. Trapping rabbits, squirrels, and fish can provide much-needed protein. Snares, traps, and fishing lines are essential tools for the rural survivor. Remember, never eat anything you can't positively identify as safe. A good field guide to edible plants is as vital as your compass in this scenario, and always purify any water you collect from natural sources. Boiling, filtering, or using water purification tablets can prevent debilitating illnesses. When the taps run dry in the urban jungle, you'll be fighting tooth and nail for every drop. That's why securing a reliable water supply is mission critical. Start by stockpiling. You can fill every bathtub, sink, and container you can find. A gallon per person per day is the bare minimum for drinking and hygiene. But remember, storing water is only half the battle. You need to be able to purify it. Water purification tablets, filters, and even boiling can mean the difference between a thirst-quenching drink and a nasty bout of dysentery. Think outside the box, or in this case, the apartment. Rainwater harvesting can be a lifesaver. And speaking of harvesting rainwater, we have a separate video specifically on that topic. I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. So set up tarps or buckets to collect rainwater during downpours. Remember, even in an urban area, resourcefulness can uncover hidden sources of this life-sustaining liquid. Out in the wild, water is everywhere, but knowing where to find it and how to make it safe is key. We're talking about reading the terrain, identifying natural springs, and understanding the signs of underground water sources. This is where your observation skills become a matter of life or death. Follow animal tracks. They often lead to water. Look for areas with lush vegetation, a sure sign of a water source nearby. Learn to identify depressions in the ground where rainwater might collect. Remember, even in the driest environments, water can be found if you know where to look. Always, and I mean always, purify any water collected from natural sources. Boiling is the most reliable method, but water filters and purification tablets are essential backup options. Never underestimate the importance of clean water. It's the lifeblood of survival in any situation. When the world goes south, shelter becomes paramount. In an urban environment, it's about fortifying your position. We're talking reinforcing doors, barricading windows, and turning your apartment into a safe haven. Remember, urban survival hinges on blending in, being inconspicuous. You don't want to be a beacon attracting unwanted attention. Now, essential tools can be a lifesaver. A crowbar can help you wedge open a fire escape, while a multi-tool becomes your best friend for repairs and crafting. And never underestimate the importance of portable power. A solar charger, even a hand crank one, can keep your essential electronics alive. Information is power in a crisis, so a way to charge your phone could be the difference between life and death. Remember, improvisation is key. An old car battery can be rigged up to provide some basic power. Just make sure you know what you're doing. Dodgy wiring can be as dangerous as a wild animal. Now, in a rural area, shelter takes on a whole new meaning. We're talking about utilizing natural resources such as branches, leaves, tarps in order to build a temporary shelter. Think back to your scouting days, remember those basic knots? Well, now's the time to put them to good use. It's about camouflage and blending into the environment. You want to be at one with nature, not sticking out like a sore thumb. Your essential tools change too. An axe becomes your best mate for chopping firewood and clearing paths. A good knife, well, that's essential for any survival situation, urban or rural. And don't forget about fire. Knowing how to start and maintain a fire is vital for warmth, cooking, and even signaling for help. Remember, a well-built fire can be a beacon of hope in the darkest of nights. In any disaster, injuries are a given. You need to be your own first responder. A well-stocked first aid kit is non-negotiable. We're talking bandages, antiseptics, pain relievers, the works. But in a city, it's about more than just cuts and scrapes. Think about the specific risks like broken glass, falling debris, even exposure to hazardous materials. Prescription medications are crucial. If you rely on daily meds, having a backup supply is paramount. Over-the-counter meds are just as vital. Painkillers, antidiarrheals, anything to combat common ailments. Trust me, in a crisis, the last thing you need is a raging headache or a dodgy stomach slowing you down. In the wilderness or rural area, medical emergencies can escalate quickly. A basic understanding of first aid is crucial. Treating wounds, setting bones, even identifying poisonous plants could save your life. It's all about improvisation. Nature provides a surprising number of medicinal plants. Knowing what's what could be the difference between a speedy recovery and a nasty infection. Remember those essential oils your nan swore by? Turns out many have antiseptic and antibacterial properties. Tea tree oil, lavender oil, they're not just for aromatherapy anymore. And don't underestimate the power of knowledge. A good medicinal plant guide could be as valuable as any first aid kit. And remember, in a true grid-down scenario, the internet may not be working, so having these books or guides around are invaluable. Let's be clear, in a crisis, desperation can bring out the worst in people. Protecting yourself and your supplies is paramount. Now, I'm not advocating turning into Rambo, but having a means of defense is crucial. A sturdy walking stick can double as a defensive tool. Pepper spray can deter attackers, giving you valuable seconds to escape. Remember, in an urban environment, stealth and awareness are your allies. Secure your dwelling, reinforce entry points, and maintain a low profile. Avoid attracting unnecessary attention. The goal is to blend in, to avoid becoming a target. Speaking of blending in, I have a separate video that I did about being a gray man and blending in during a prepper scenario. I'll leave a link to that video in the description below if you want to check that video out next. Out in the middle of a rural area, security takes on a different form. It's about awareness, about reading the signs of danger. Animal attacks are a real threat, so knowing how to deter them is crucial. A well-placed tripwire around your camp can alert you to intruders, both human and animal. And if you're comfortable with firearms, knowing how to handle them safely and responsibly is essential. Remember, a weapon is a last resort, not a license for aggression. Out here, respect for nature and for your fellow humans is paramount. We're all in this together, and cooperation is key to survival. We rely so heavily on technology these days, but in a true survival situation, those mobile phone towers might not be so reliable. Remember, a dead phone is just a dead weight. We need to think about alternative ways to communicate. A hand-cranked weather radio is essential for receiving emergency broadcasts. Make sure yours is in good working order and you've got some spare batteries tucked away just in case. And never underestimate the importance of knowing how to signal for help. Morse code, signal mirrors, even a brightly colored piece of cloth tied high up can make all the difference in attracting attention. In a true prepper scenario, it's about adapting, improvising, and overcoming. Having multiple lines of communication could be the lifeline you need when the world goes dark. In a long-term survival scenario, having some way to power essential electronics can be a real game changer. Think headlamps, radios, or even charging a satellite phone. Solar chargers are a godsend in the wilderness, literally harnessing the power of the sun. Make sure you've got one that's rugged, waterproof, and powerful enough to keep your vital gear running. If you're bugging out in an urban environment, a portable power station might be a better bet. Look for one with multiple outlets and a decent capacity to keep those essential devices juiced up. Remember, knowledge is power, and in this case, that knowledge could be the difference between staying connected and being plunged into the unknown. Out in the middle of nowhere, the elements can change faster than you can say survival. That's why layering your clothing is absolutely crucial. Start with a moisture-wicking base layer to keep sweat away from your skin. Next, add an insulating layer like fleece or wool for warmth. And finally, a waterproof and windproof outer shell will protect you from the worst the weather can throw at you. Remember, cotton might be comfy, but it's a death trap when it gets wet. It saps your body heat and takes forever to dry. Opt for synthetic fabrics or wool instead. They'll keep you warm even when damp. It's about being prepared for anything, so pack for all eventualities, because the right clothing can mean the difference between a successful mission and a total washout. Your feet are your lifeline in a survival situation. Blisters, trench foot, frostbite, these are all things we want to avoid at all costs. That's why investing in a good pair of boots is paramount. Look for sturdy, waterproof boots with good ankle support. Make sure you break them in properly before any serious trekking. You don't want to be dealing with blisters when the stakes are high. And don't forget about socks. Wool socks are your best bet. They wick away moisture, keeping your feet dry and warm even when things get tough. Remember, a comfortable and protected foot is a happy foot. And a happy foot will carry you miles when it matters most. Forget your fancy kitchen gadgets. In a grid-down situation, it's back to basics. You'll need a reliable cooking method that doesn't rely on electricity or gas. A simple camping stove is a great option. Lightweight, portable, and easy to use. Make sure you've got plenty of fuel canisters to keep it going, and don't forget a fire starter. Being able to build a fire is a fundamental survival skill, and a warm meal can do wonders for morale. A durable set of cookware is also essential. Look for nesting pots and pans to save space, and don't forget a sturdy spork. It's the only cutlery you'll ever need. Remember, in a survival situation, food is fuel, so being able to cook safely and efficiently is vital for keeping your energy levels up and your spirits high. We don't often think about it, but maintaining hygiene is crucial in a survival situation. Poor sanitation can lead to diseases that will knock you down faster than a charging rhino. Trust me, I've been there. Pack biodegradable soap and hand sanitizer. Clean hands are your first line of defense against germs. And for dealing with waste, a small trowel and toilet paper are essential for digging those all-important cat holes. Remember, water is precious in a survival situation, so a small bottle of hand sanitizer can be a lifesaver. Use it liberally after handling any waste or before eating. Staying clean might not seem like the most glamorous aspect of survival, but it can be the difference between staying healthy and succumbing to illness. So keep it clean, stay vigilant, and survive. We've covered a lot of ground in terms of food, water, and shelter, which are the essentials. But surviving long-term, that's about adaptation. It's about taking control of your destiny. And in a grid-down scenario, there's no better way to do that than by growing your own food. Now, seeds might seem small, insignificant, but let me tell you, they're a lifeline, packed with the potential for life, for sustenance. In the wild, I've relied on foraging for edible plants, but that's not always reliable. Having your own source of fresh fruits and vegetables, that's a game changer. Whether you're in the concrete jungle of an urban area or have a bit of land, there's a way to make seeds work for you. Urban dwellers, think vertical gardens, rooftops, even window boxes. Rural folks, you've got a head start, but maximize your yield. Plan for different crops, rotate them, and understand your soil. Remember, seeds aren't a one-time thing. Properly stored, they can last for seasons, even years. This means you're not just growing food for now, but for the future. You're creating a legacy of survival for yourself and those around you. Seeds are the start, but to make them count, you need the right gear. Now, I've started fires with sticks and built shelters with my bare hands, but gardening, it needs a bit more finesse. First off, soil. In an urban environment, you might need to bring in bags of the good stuff. Look for organic mixes, rich in nutrients. Rural areas, you're likely set, but knowing your soil type is crucial. Test it, amend it, give those seeds the best chance they've got. Next, tools. You don't need a whole shed full, but a few essentials are key. A sturdy trowel for planting, a hand rake for weeding, and a good pair of gloves to protect those digits. And of course, you'll need something to water those seedlings. Rain barrels are great for rural settings, but even in the city, you can collect rainwater from gutters. Finally, knowledge. A seed packet can only tell you so much. Learn about companion planting, pest control, and the best times to sow and harvest. This knowledge, it's as important as any tool in your arsenal. It's the difference between a meager harvest and a bountiful one. When the grid goes down, so does the system we rely on. Money, credit cards, they become about as useful as a chocolate teapot. What becomes valuable? Essential goods and skills. This is where bartering comes in. Bartering, it's the oldest form of commerce known to man. Long before cash, people traded goods and services. It's about recognizing needs and filling them. It's about community, about mutual benefit. In an urban environment, think about what skills you possess. Are you a doctor, a mechanic, a carpenter? These skills become highly sought after. Rural areas, you're more likely to have surplus food, livestock, or tools. Knowing the value of what you have is crucial. Remember, bartering is about negotiation. Be fair but be firm. Don't be afraid to walk away from a bad deal, and always be aware of your surroundings. Desperate times can bring out the best and worst in people. So, as a wrap-up, what are the golden nuggets of the post-collapse world? What should you be stockpiling, not just for yourself, but for potential trade? Let's break it down. First off, essentials. Food, water, and medicine, these are always in high demand. Canned goods, long shelf life items, water purification tablets, basic first aid supplies, these are like gold dust. Next, comfort items. Believe me, even in survival mode, a little comfort goes a long way. Things like coffee, tea, sugar, spices, they might seem trivial, but they can lift spirits and make tough times a little more bearable. Then there's the practical stuff. Lighters, batteries, duct tape, and tools, these are always useful. Alcohol and cigarettes, while not essential for survival, can become valuable bartering chips. Finally, don't underestimate the power of knowledge. Knowing how to fix a generator, grow food, or provide medical care, these skills are worth their weight in gold. Remember, in a world turned upside down, knowledge truly is power. So, we've talked about the essentials like food, water, and shelter. We've discussed the importance of security communication and the skills needed to thrive in a world turned upside down. Remember, prepping isn't about living in fear. It's about taking control, about being prepared for whatever life throws your way. It's about resilience, about adaptability, about ensuring the safety and well-being of yourself and those you care about. Whether you're in the heart of the city or miles from the nearest town, the principles of prepping remain the same. Assess your environment, identify your needs, and take action. Start small, build gradually, and never stop learning. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but with the right mindset, the right preparation, and a healthy dose of grit, you can overcome any challenge. So get out there, get prepping, and remember to stay safe and stay strong. As we wrap up today's video, if you have any questions or if there are any topics that you would like discussed in the future, let us know in the comment section below. We love to get video ideas from the community. Let us know what you think of today's video as well. We always appreciate input. And be sure to like today's video and subscribe to the channel in order to be notified of the next prepper video we release. Check out the link in the description of the video for a $25 restaurant voucher as a thank you for subscribing to the channel. Also check out the link in the description for a list of offers of free prepper gear and free prepper items to check out. And thanks for swinging by the Prepper Almanac today. It's appreciated.